All right, welcome back to Tats and Gats podcast. This is episode 9. We have the gentleman from Rifle Supply here. Do you want to introduce yourself and plug our sponsors before we get started?
I'm Lee with RKB Tactical, one of the sponsors. Since we don't have any yet, maybe season 2.
Season 2, we're getting sponsors, baby.
Sponsored now.
And I'm Alex, and Inkton Tools is booking business management software for tattoo artists. So we're going to jump right into it. We'll get into you guys and who you are. But first, we always like to do an EDC pocket dump, what you carry on a daily basis, maybe what you're carrying right now. So let's see what you guys got.
Go first. You want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
All right. So if you know anything about Rifle Supply, I have a Belgian Malinois that I train. It's like a sport working dog. So this is my treat pouch, and it's also my EDC. So I actually still have some dog treats in there. But let's go into my front pocket. Let's see. I got dog training cards.
Nice.
And for my boy AB, and I have my cards. Always got to have chapstick. I have a pen just in case.
Fires.
Huh?
And it's a dog fan, so food bag. That's that one, food bags, and that's going to be it in there. In here, what I have is you want to unload it and unchamber.
You can leave it holstered, it's fine.
We run a hot range.
Okay. SIG XL with the macro mag, so the 17+1 macro mag, and I carry an extra 15 rounder in there.
Nice.
And that's mine with some hand sanitizer and a carabiner.
All right. I don't have nearly as much stuff, but
You got new stuff. We did ours. The first 3 episodes was always the same thing.
Right.
So now it's just if we have updates. But yeah, we got some for.
I usually have a light, but I messed up. I didn't have it today.
I'm pretty simple. I got keys, garage door opener,
I was gonna say, is that a flipper or one of those?
a lighter, some sunglasses, cell phone, and then just my 43X.
Nice. Hell
Got
yeah!
a nice little simple stipple from First Street Defense. But other than that, it's pretty much stock.
Were they at the summer event you guys had?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They do all
yeah,
of our stippling for us at the shop.
Yeah, I got one of their cards. Super
I was
nice.
there. I was photoshopped.
That's right.
I had a class that day. I'll be there this year.
I guess my update is I'm getting the SIG P365, picking it up from you guys tomorrow. As my 10 days is over, so that will be my new one of my new carrier guns. And I did the SIG red dot that fits on there, and the TLR sub 7, and then a tier 1 holster.
At least you went tier 1 this time instead of supporting my cousin Lucas.
Yeah, I had to try out the tier 1. I had so many T-Rex holsters.
I love the T-Rex holsters and the tier 1s. The incogs that we have at the shop are pretty cool too. You know, the Safari Land paired with, Haley Strategic, and they did
That's
those
right.
incogs. So they have mag caddies. It fits the sub 7. Yeah, they're actually pretty nice, and they're all suede on the outside. It's a nice like production holster. That was kind of my only thing with holsters for a long time. Like, I know Raul ordered a tier 1. And then T-Rex were always great, but I wanted one I could carry in the store, and I'm more of a simple guy. Like, can I order it? Is it good? And the incog is suede, has a wing on it, and you can get it with a mag caddy, and you can get it ready for the sub 7, which is actually pretty cool.
With the P365, you guys have them in store?
Yep.
I might have to check that out tomorrow when I'm in there.
They're pretty neat. Yeah, it's pretty neat for like a production one, because all of the custom ones, it doesn't always work for every customer's lifestyle of having to order it custom and stuff. They want to be there, they want to carry, but they don't have to go all crazy tactical and get it exactly what they want. They don't need colors and stuff.
And the lead times too.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, I like to have them match you.
People like to just go in there and be like, I want a holster for this. There it is. It's got everything I need, rather than having to go online. And
It can be confusing.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
like
sure.
Safari Land's
Totally.
website is like, you have to have a degree in like
like
coding to
3,000
understand all those
SKUs.
numbers and shit.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, but not every customer wants to do all of that. Like 80% of the customers are going to carry, they want to train, but it's at a basic level as far as their holster, their light, their optics, stuff like that. So we've kind of grown on making that important to us is being able to cater to everybody, not just the guys that are going to train every weekend, but the guys who are going to train once a month or once a quarter, so making stuff accessible. So it's nice when products are there that we can just, a nice product that we can, put them with.
Cool. What's your new update?
The update is the new Glock 45 with an acro, mod light, tier 1 holster. I got 41 rounds here.
Taking you to the movies with me, dude.
Hell yeah.
Or the mall.
Tourniquet, people to kill, mod light, Gerber. Wallet, pen, Sharpie, because I can never find a fucking Sharpie at the range. And that's me every day.
Yeah, he was actually at the movie theaters, and I think you texted like a group chat, and you're like, guess how many rounds I have on me? And I was like, did the math, and I was like, all right, I know he's got the 19 rounds. I was like 42 or something, right? There's one in the chamber.
I carry that every day. But I have 2 Glock 45s. The only difference is one has a SRO, one has the acro.
You like the acro?
I do.
We just got them in. We got a bunch of them in.
I like it for everyday carrying. I did a CQB class where I got like punted in by another big dude as we were trying to funnel in through a doorway. Mm-hmm. Hit a filing cabinet. It broke my Safari Line holster, but it didn't break my SRO. So I was like, maybe I'll just get something a little sturdier. But for carrying that, I like shooting that range. I like SROs.
Gotcha. That bigger open window. Yeah.
I do have my flashlight. I know I always say I have it, and I never did for like the first. I'm like, I always carry it, except so I do have that.
Have you ever tried the Neo Mags, Lee?
What's that?
The Neo Mags?
Yeah.
Do you not like them? I know Sam, our store manager, carries them a ton.
It's because I carry my cell phone right here. So that big ass mag, hits it.
Oh, that's
and I'm
fair.
just so efficient in just my appendix carry and drawing and
changing there.
Yeah. So and I'm a big like preacher of carry whatever you train it with at the range.
That's fair.
That makes sense.
I have a 43X just like that.
Yeah.
Same setup as this, and I fucking hate it.
Because you don't train with it?
'Cause I don't train with it, and it's super snappy. Like my 45s just shoot flat as my ass. It's just fucking.
That's like a whole podcast, like 6-hour podcast, is like where you want to carry. I just switched over to appendix after I've had my CCW almost 10 years since they opened it up in San Diego. I think that was 14, and I just switched over. I was always 3 o'clock canted, just because my fighting stance isn't squared up. And so it's like the schools of thought and the conversations are so crazy and in depth on where you like to carry, everything like that. I think the bottom line is if you train, that's what's going to be the most important, because the 3 o'clock was really nice before they had all the cool holsters. Right now they have such nice appendix holsters that have some give and stuff like that. But like I said, I was always taught punch out the way that you're going to throw a punch. So I'm always slightly canted. I'm never chest up on somebody. So doing an appendix never really made sense to me. But I don't know.
Way. But you just train it.
Yeah.
Like we're always a little offset.
Yep.
No one's ever doing the isosceles stance anymore. Like it's obsolete. Unless you're a cop or in the military.
Yeah, the cops are.
You can always tell, like, oh, you a cop? Yeah, how can you tell? Just fucking.
We completely screwed up. When was the last time you got in a fight that way? Right? It didn't happen.
Cool. Well, with the EDC pocket dump out of the way, let's get into who you guys are. If you want to give a brief bio background, little bit about you guys.
Yeah, dude, you go first.
I'm Justin. I'm the COO of Rifle Supply. Been there a little over 6 years. Just got into it with John and wanted to help it grow, and now we're feeding 26 families, so that's pretty cool. Thanks to guys like Raul and Chuck and the rest of the team that I got lucky enough to hire and bring them on. This guy kind of made us famous, so made himself famous through all of his paint jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, that's me.
I'm Chuck. I run our manufacturing department at Rifle Supply. I got started there doing pretty much just like an oddball side job, and then just kind of got brought on full time. Started Cerakoting, learned how to Cerakote, developed that department up really big. Now I kind of do a little bit of everything. You could find me up front doing sales. You could find me in back, like helping out shipping and receiving. But yeah, my baby is like the Cerakote department. Right. I started Cerakoting and I did a bunch of like big builds for a bunch of people. And
it wasn't a side gig. I bugged him for years. He's actually my cousin, so I bugged him for years. So he is a really incredible chef. And whenever we go to the river, he always made the best drinks. He can make the best. He just has a great imagination. So I bugged him for years and years. I'm like, dude, you got to make it down here to Orange County because he's what is it, IE or Riverside? IE.
Corona.
And then
Hell yeah.
he was cooking and stuff, and I
there.
brought him in, and yeah, he just took it and ran, man. He killed it. So
You still live out there, or you live over here now?
No, I'm actually in Long Beach now.
Okay.
Yeah.
he almost made it to Orange County.
I was there for a minute.
You overshot it by a
So it was
county.
crazy. I was living in Huntington Beach, working in Long Beach at a restaurant, and then because I was living with him, and then that's when I started working at Rifle Supply part time. I was cooking out in Long Beach at night, and then coming and working at Rifle Supply during the day. And then as soon as I got full time working in Huntington Beach, living with him, then I moved with my chick in Long Beach. So I like went,
Yeah.
It's all good.
but yeah.
There's, we kind of just let it go free form, but we have standard questions that we'll like go to every once in a while. But there's one I definitely want to ask you guys working in a gun shop because it's a unique experience. I think you know where I'm going with this. But so we always ask people if you ever experienced an ND or anything unsafe, either with yourself or on the range or in a class or whatever. But for you guys in the setting of a gun shop, I'm sure you have some crazy stories. I know I was in there not too long ago drosing something, and a guy was doing a private party transfer. And you guys, shout out to whoever your employee was that handled it. They actually denied the transaction because it was so sketchy.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not hear about that. Nobody tells me about it.
I mean, it was just an offhand thing, but the way the guy presented the gun to transfer is he pulled it out of his holster like this, and the guy, like, your employee, I forget who it was, handled it like so professionally or whatever. But then after the guy left, he's like, "That is the sketchiest way anyone's ever pulled out a gun to show me." But he had no, I don't think he had an ID or wasn't a state resident. There was a reason he denied the transaction.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, if you guys have any good stories of crazy
I've
stuff.
had a loaded gun pointed at my head one time.
Oh, I forgot about
working
that.
at our old shop, helping a customer out, reaching down behind the counter to grab something from underneath glass, and he pulls out his gun right pointed at my head. And our other employee, Mike, just comes over like, whoa, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't just, it was, I didn't even notice because I was looking there trying to grab something, and then I look up and there's just a gun in my face. I'm like, whoa. And then, Mike just takes it, clears the gun, like, dude, you can't, like, sorry.
What was the purpose? Was he just
He was
excited to
looking
show
for
you?
something. He's like, "Oh, for my gun. Like this is I need it for this gun," and just pulls it right at my face.
Or people checking in guns. Our old store, our old shop, our first shop was like 400 square feet. It was like smaller than the size of this room before we had the big store. So it was easy to get to people and have issues, but we always wanted it to be like a super welcoming environment. So it wasn't super formal. It wasn't like, we weren't fully kitted out, and we wanted people to have a different experience. They've had a lot of other gun stores where you kind of have that, a little bit of a macho attitude, right? We wanted people to enjoy coming into our store. So it's a little bit more lax. We all open carried always, but it was working that professionalism into that in situations like this, because people come in with their rifles. Hey man, is it cleared? Yep, it's cleared. Cool, man. Let me just check. Whack, round in the chamber. Things like that. And
like, well, the magazine was clear.
I took the mag.
There's no mag in it. Yeah, it's not loaded.
You didn't ask about the chamber.
And it's tough. It's I don't know. We don't like to try and judge people on those type of things. Like you said, the employee handled it correctly, but it's we just got to keep them safe and keep us safe at the same time. So it's always been a little tough sometimes.
We've had a couple guns come in for gunsmithing with like bullets chambered backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like just weird stuff like that. You're like, how does this even happen?
Must have been that guy from Mark's class.
That cop that loaded his wife.
Yeah.
Squibs. We've had back in the day, we used to only have one person running the shop. It was so small. So like I've had times where we sold polymer 80s for a long time, right? We sold kits for a long time. So you have different kind of clientele that comes in. You can probably understand.
Yep.
And,
The best kind of people.
I mean, I've personally put my AR pistol, I've actually put it on after hours because I didn't feel comfortable, and I would help people with that right there, depending on who was there.
Yeah.
I've had instances where I've had to walk outside and I just opened the door. It was right here. I looked at them, they looked at me, and they got in the car and left. Like sometimes it's slightly sketchy, but we've always tried to put out there that we're force on force people, right? I don't think that going soft is going to de-escalate a situation.
Yeah.
If you're going to come in here hot, everybody's carrying. So so people know that with us, as opposed to, I won't name any other names, but like there's other shops where they don't allow their employees to carry because of insurance reasons. That would be sketchy as shit.
Yeah,
That's scary.
Yeah. So we always kind of took that
Like
stance
their
on it.
customers can come in carrying, like that's
Right.
weird. It's weird.
Well, and they say they can't come in carrying, you're not allowed to carry.
You're
And I'm like,
okay.
yeah, like that's going to happen.
Yeah, wow.
It's very
Can't
interesting.
read, so signs don't.
That's right. If I could read, I would know that sign says this is federal land and you can't hike here.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, working in the tattoo shop, most of us carried. And I remember one time it was like 3 of us were carrying, 2 of us were tattooing cops were carrying, another guy had his CCW. So it was like 6 or 7 people carrying. And I was like, the poor guy that walks in to rob this place right now. It's just
Like,
Okay, so I got a question for you on that because like I said before we sat down, I've been in the tattoo scene for a long time. A lot of friends, we both have. A lot of people in that scene or industry lay to the left.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think?
And how have you? God, it's weird. I feel like I'm on our podcast.
I love it. No, it's
How
good.
did you navigate that correctly, or did you just be like, "This is who I am. I'm respectful of you. Be respectful of me in how I do it"?
I mean, I went to art school, so I went to art school in San Francisco. I always wanted to be a tattoo artist,
Right.
but I'm also from a family. My dad was in law enforcement. My parents are more conservative, so that's kind of always been my base. I grew up religious, and still am. So I've just always I guess been myself in that regard. But like when I started. And I was apprenticing. I had no money, of course. Like, oh yeah, it was like Bernie Sanders was at the time. I'm like, that does sound good. And my one of my mentors was like,
Socialism.
just wait for the second you start making money and have to pay taxes. And sure enough, like I completely, changed by that point. And but I mean, it comes down to like for me, it's just basic principles of like I don't think that protecting yourself or wanting to keep more of your money out of the hands of the government it should be a political thing. Like to me, it's
Sounds
not.
like common sense.
But yeah, you're right. The tattoo world you would think leans more that way, but I'm finding out more and more and more. Tattoo artists are business owners, so they do tend to lean, at the very least, fiscally conservative. Yeah. And then a lot of them, you're working in an environment like that does have sketchy people. You're open late. You're a street shop. Yep. When I was coming up in my shop, I was taking walk-ins, staying there late at night. It's like. Yeah, I'm having my gun on me, You
were like the bar was next door.
Yeah. We were right next to the pen. We never had anything too crazy, but there'd be like a tweaker would come in and start asking weird questions, and they're looking around at everything. Oh, one of my coworkers, Brian B. Tattoo, his wall is full of old antique guns. So like. You could always tell when someone walks in, like, oh, are those guns real? And it's like, no, but the one in my pants is. Yeah. And like, you know what I mean?
The pen was rough back in the day. I mean, they cleaned it up quite a bit. But were you guys there when it was pretty rough? That was when Huntington Beach was on the rougher side as far as there were just a lot of different elements down here.
Yeah. The tattoo gallery opened about 15, 17 years ago, somewhere there. So it was, I think the pen was turning around at that point. By the time I was old enough to drink in the pen, it didn't have any of that reputation. Yeah. People were always like, oh, that bar is...
I've been in a fight there like 10 years ago.
Oh,
yeah. That'll happen at the pen.
Yeah, man.
I walked into that tattoo shop a long time ago too, actually. Now it does ring a bell because I go into a lot of tattoo shops. We were just in Spain actually for 10 days, but I go into a lot of tattoo shops just to look at the flash and check it out. And for me, it's kind of weird because it's like going into a gun store because, right, we're both heavily tattooed and okay, what kind of attitude am I going to get from the person that's behind there? Are they going to be are we allowed to curse on here or not?
Absolutely.
Are they going to be a fucking...
I don't know yet. We're on YouTube. Are you allowed to cuss on YouTube?
Yeah, no, you are. Are they going to be a fucking dick to me? Just like when my wife, whose father was in Vietnam, was a sniper and a Green Beret after that, so she was raised around guns. When she walks into a gun store, how the fuck is she going to get treated? Yeah. Right? And so I always walk into tattoo shops and I'm like, just be nice to me, dude. I know, like, I've been in the scene for a long time. I love tattoos. Like, just be nice. And it's just weird the different attitudes that you get. That's kind of branches into rifle supply, and how we kind of built that's not what we want people to say. We want people to say, like, yeah, they were just cool. They have good knowledge and they were cool and it was a good experience. And it's just weird in the tattoo industry too. It's like that. You get kind of that machismo thing a little bit sometimes.
Absolutely. Especially if you're a tattoo artist, and especially if you tell them that. For some reason, the walls go up immediately. Oh, you're a tattoo artist. Like, this should be the most welcoming thing ever.
Yeah, we're all on the same team here.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, I've got on vacation, I'll go into a shop, and but sometimes it also, the other side is true, where the walls will come down if they're like nice people. Like, oh, rad, come on back. Oh, look at what I'm working on. Like, that's the right attitude. Yeah.
Like, oh, I've seen you on Instagram.
Oh yeah, not that.
I get crap for that all the time, but like the people around like the tattoo community, every time you post something gun related, I'm like, oh, there goes some followers for you.
Oh yeah, like since I started posting more gun stuff and more things about this podcast, the follower count just by
A
hundreds.
lot more tattoo guys are like openly gun guys now, right?
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Were they they were
Yeah.
closeted
Crazy.
before, and now
And
they're
then a lot of the new guys are coming up to like, oh, they're just gun guys now. It's not like that to be secretive about it, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Now they're a lot more open about it. There's a couple guys that are like, hey, I'm like into guns. I'm a tattoo artist. Could I come shoot?
But it's
They don't
super
advertise
split
it at all.
because there's all the like super young like people that are super anti-gun coming up in the tattoo world as well. So it is like incredibly divided.
I get it. You don't want to kill your business, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, those are your clients. If you have clients that are adamantly against guns, but they're for tattoos, we don't really give a shit. But they would give a shit if they knew you were adamantly for gun. You know what
True.
I'm saying? And that's how you put food on the plate. So I get it. I don't. It's never really been me. I kind of just who I am to everybody, and you either like it or not. But I understand you got to feed your family. So
Yeah.
people that were more closeted before,
Like I have a patch wall. Like I have a ton of clients that are in law enforcement, military, fire. So I put all their patches up. And my dad, former law enforcement of all people, he was like, maybe don't. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, you have clients probably like don't like law enforcement. And I was like, Dad, if me having a patch supporting one of my clients, like profession up on the wall, like deters them from being a client, I'm totally
They're not the
fine.
client for me.
Yeah. Then there's plenty of other great artists to service them that agree with them. So
Blue hair.
probably.
I kind of went through the same thing. Our buddy Todd actually turned me on to a band recently because we both listen to hardcore, and it's a hardcore band from up north. And I was like super into him. I'm not going to say the name, right? It's not that big of a deal, but I was listening to him, following him on IG and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I can get into this band. And then they had this song about cops that was on there, and I was listening to their album, and I was like, yeah, man, that's not my thing. So like, I'm out. Like, so like, I don't listen to anymore. And it's when you have something that's that close to you, as far as in your life, like law enforcement, we have tons of friends that are in law enforcement. We work in guns. Like, you can be against it, that's fine, but you can't, like, coming out and bashing it is something that's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Just so if the client was talking shit about cops while you were tattooing, you'd probably been like, yeah, man, I'm not that into it. But if they just look at the patch wall and they just keep it to themselves, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of times I find it opens up better conversations, like
Totally.
I love talking with clients that we disagree on stuff, and
100%.
maybe it's my age, time I grew up in. It's just like you talk about stuff and you can disagree, but we can have a conversation about it. And it
To be able to have that conversation is cool, right? So
Yeah.
you can't do that with a lot of people that get like offended or like, oh, you can
Safe spaces.
or they want to attribute negative personality traits to you because of a different opinion. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I
not the way
can
it works.
disagree with you and not think you're a bad person.
Exactly. Yeah.
it was like that on the Shoot the Mic podcast, because we didn't really know how we wanted to go with that thing. I didn't even really create it. Raul did, and Chuck, they all put it together, and it's called Shoot the Mic, and it's because we're just shooting the shit. But it's I don't know, it's super interesting because we always said, like, anybody that's against what we believe in, please come on here and let's have a conversation. Like, it's like Rogan does, right? Let's just have a conversation and see if we can meet in the middle, or at least you understand where I'm coming from and I get where you're coming from. So yeah,
I love that.
With you guys working in a gun shop, what was your first gun purchase ever?
Oh yeah.
Oh, in the gun store or just
Hopefully
in
it's
life?
not. Oh, in life. Like
Oh,
your
in
first
life, you guys
gun.
are gonna hate it and talk shit on mine.
Oh.
Actually, on both of ours,
probably the same
we had the
one.
same gun.
His probably worse. So
My first two guns was probably the worst thing you could ever shoot.
Mine was a Springfield XD.
Yeah.
bingo.
Mine was the Springfield XD as well. But the only reason I got it was because I was brand new, didn't have a lot of money, and they have the gear up package. You get like 5 extra mags, a holster. Yeah. And I was like, dude, this is the best deal ever. And then I'm like walking around the shop with my new gun. Everyone's like, is that a Springfield XD? I'm like, yeah, this thing's dope. Everyone's like just giving me shit for
I had
it.
his back. I had his
What
back.
caliber?
9.
I got 45.
At least you didn't get a 40. At least you didn't get a 40. But it's so weird. So I had this conversation with one of the guys at the store the other day, and I was like, look, he's super anti-XD. And I said, just hear me out on this conversation. I said, have you ever cleared your house in the middle of the night? And he said, yes, multiple times. I said, okay, I have too, when I thought somebody was there or something like that. I understand that Springfield has a loaded chamber indicator, a cocked indicator, a palm swell safety, and a trigger safety. I get those 4 features. I said, but when I woke up in the middle of the night and I was in a dead sleep and it is absolutely dark, I ran my finger on the top of that slide to make sure it was chambered, and I ran my finger on the back to know I was cocked, because I'm not going to turn my light on and press check it at that point. Yes, everything is loaded in my house. Everything is hot. But in the instance where my wife's life depends on it, my family's life depends on it, I'm going to double check. That's why we press check, right? I'm going to double check. And in the dark, I can't do that without telling somebody that I'm up. So I ran my finger there, I ran my finger on the back, and I said, okay, let's go. So it's like people talk shit, but there's these certain instances where those dumb little things that they put on there, they actually came in handy in my life.
That's great.
Weird. That's why I got the cheap the high point in the house. You know,
I was gonna say your first was high point. You said it was bad.
I wish it was a high point.
At least you can throw it at him if it.
I would have kept it. I would have put like an EOTech.
My dad has one. I'm gonna try and grab it from him. I think it's in 380 though. Do they make a high point 380?
I probably.
All right, I'm sending you guys a picture of the 43X with the acro on it.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna take a quick little break, reset, and then we'll jump right back into it. All right, we're back after our break. Well, we definitely were talking about some stuff that we should have been talking about on the podcast. Yeah. Do you got anything? I've got a question on deck, but
Firearm.
okay.
Good.
Pressure. No, it's one of our standard questions, but I think it's applicable to you guys working again in the gun shop, seeing products come out all the time. Where do you see like the firearm industry going in the next 5-10 years?
You're gonna point at me, aren't you?
No, of course.
I don't know. I try not to take a lot of guesses. So the way that we've kind of built Rifle Supply was pivot. That's the way we built the business from the beginning. We have to be agile. And as soon as there's been times in the last 6 years when we built it where we got Ronald McDonald, where our feet got too big and we got slow, and it doesn't allow us to pivot. Being in the California market, we have to be super agile. I feel like the companies that aren't, they die. And that's not a judgment. That's just, you got to be able to move. Like, we don't know if the mags are going to go back to 30 at any point. We don't know what guns are going to get added to the roster, things like that. I don't know where it's going to go as far as the ATF. We have interaction with them, but not a ton. As far as the DOJ goes, I don't know. I could see it tightening up. We got some more guns on the roster now. That's cool. I don't know if Newsom's going to run for president. That'll take him out. Then we get a new governor. Then maybe good things could happen.
Bianco.
Yeah,
Bianco's running for governor.
As long as we don't, as long as he doesn't get in to the White House, right? Then we're good. Like, I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but for me, as far as running the gun store, and we're a manufacturer too, is just be agile. And that's not too conservative. And we're a bootstrap company too. We have no investors, no bank loans. It's all on us. So in that way, we have to be slightly conservative. So cool, everything changed, bam, we'll move. And that's why like Raul has been huge for us as far as our social media. Chuck in the manufacturing has been huge. And my guys up front, Sam and all of his guys, we kind of just roll with the punches. And the guys, I feel like some old school cats in gun stores, they get stuck in just fighting it. And that's when you die. Like, you got to adapt. You got to adapt and overcome. It sounds kind of cheesy,
but if something like brand new comes out, you're like, we got that coming in on Thursday. It's always real. Like, it's coming in. Come get it. Place your orders. Like, you guys are always fucking on it, and you guys are always like announcing what's coming, what's happening. Like, nobody else around here is really doing that.
And that's kind of from our relationships too. Like, Raul has built the relationships. Chuck has. Like, we had a question on. What was it? SB2? No, it was something happening. So we called Reno May and we were like, hey dude, so what's the deal? Like, Arm Scholar, we're really good friends with him. And a bunch of those other guys. So it's not relying on just us and our fucking ego about we know everything. It's like, hey, we're all a community. The better experience a customer has in the gun store, the more likely they're going to stay in the community. And that's what's important. That's what I feel like some places they don't understand is, if you treat a customer shitty, we just want more people on our team, dude. That's the whole point here, going on where we're going to go in the next 5 and 10 years. I think if the more people we can have on our team fighting for the same thing, it just, our ability to carry, or ability to own guns that are normal, not all fucked off. It's important to get more people on that team. And I think that starts in the gun stores.
You guys are definitely doing it right though. 'Cause every time I roll in there, it's packed.
I had to go.
That's just the store.
And we apologize for some of that too.
No,
the
it's
lines
good.
have been super long, and we're doing our best.
I mean, Drozen, it takes a while. But
I've been getting there at. You guys open the doors at 10. I pull in the parking lot at 9:30. Because I have to come here and work after. So I'm like, I'm going to be first in line. And then I'll wait. And then another car pulls up. I'm like, all right, I'll go stand outside the door.
It just happened recently, like the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
No, probably the last month at least. There's been a line every single day.
Every day.
And we were just like, this is awesome. But like, where is everyone coming from?
Yeah. I think all the new stuff coming off roster is getting people excited.
Yeah.
I think too, if you people out there, if you hate money, follow their Instagram, 'cause it's so tempting. Like with the 365, I literally like, you'd post it, I'd click the link, I put it in the cart, and I'd like talk myself out of it, and then it'd be back in stock, and I'd put it in the cart, and then I finally was like, all right, I'm gonna buy it.
Like, yes, get rid of the shield, buy that fucking thing.
Yeah. But
I carried one of those for years too.
I just sold. I drosed it at you guys' shop.
The old shield. I have the old one that has no magazine disconnect and no safety. So like a way old one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's weird because everybody's super particular as far as what they carry. So I have a 365. I have a 48 in my backpack. I have a shield, and they all ran great for me. It's just some people that you talk to, it's some people like anti-Hellcat, and I'm like, look, the Hellcat doesn't have a manual safety. It does have a slight stipple. It does have a flat trigger. Some people just don't like Springfields, and I'm like, well, do you like their 1911s? They said, yeah, okay. Like, I don't know. It's just very interesting on this whole conversation.
Some people don't want to carry that above their dick.
It's just,
Or I sit down all day, and that's a lot to have while you're sitting.
Do you carry appendix or 3 o'clock?
Appendix, and I'll carry my Glock 19 with the light on it.
Have you tried carry 3 o'clock? I don't know if you totally agree with that or disagree with that. I'm just curious.
I have. I'm a little wider at times, so I feel like it sticks out the side more. But I've learned, like, I've carried, I've had my CCW for like almost 7 years now, 6 years, something like that. And I've carry every day that I'm tattooing. So I've just found that, like, having a good belt that can adjust and then having it sit up higher. So it's basically like sitting at my stomach.
Over a gut.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got my poncho's a little too fat.
You guys carry core belts there as
We
well,
do.
too.
Yeah, we're both. I don't know if you're. I'm wearing a core belt.
Yeah, that's what I rock.
Nice, green one there. I was like, I need to go back.
Yeah, no,
all of them.
they're the best, man. I had I guess I won't say the name. I don't know.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
There's another one that's a ratchet system.
That's what I tell everybody. I was like, hey, don't buy that. Oh, why not? It's gonna break.
It broke.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, it broke. I was like, yeah, listen to me.
Yeah.
That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah.
Just buy once, cry once. Well, I mean, what your budget can afford. That's
true.
I tell people, like, don't buy this cheap stuff. Save a little bit of money, especially when it's like a life-saving tool, something that your life depends on. Like, just wait. Spend a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Like the training, or it was weird because I was thinking about because I didn't know coming into this if we were going to talk about tattoos or we were going to talk about guns or what we were going to talk about. But the like for me, the biggest thing about carrying isn't always training on the range. Yes, it is, but it's training in your brain. It's training and thinking through situations and stuff like that. Like that's the part where I get
skills.
Exactly. Like people. Like I said, I've been carrying for a long time. My first gun, I carried my full-size XD for a long time, and I was like, okay, I'm in this liquor store. Somebody comes in and holds them up. What am I doing? Okay, this is what I'm going to do if they engage the cashier. They don't engage the cashier. Banks, situations, malls. And like I feel like a lot of people forget that. A lot of people have moved over to training the hard skills a lot, right? Out in classes doing all that stuff. But then they forget on what they would do, or they have this John Wick view of what they would do in a situation. I'm like,
Everyone's John Wick, right?
yeah, I guess. And it's like, just think about it like you were in that spot and your wife was there with you. What would you do in this situation? How am I going to engage? 100%. And that's really important that I think some people with the CCWs forget because they feel empowered because they have the gun and they know how to draw. Like, I don't give a shit if you have a sub 1 second draw from appendix. If you're not situationally aware of what's going on around you, if somebody gets a drop on you, I don't give a fuck how quick you draw, you're done. Right. Yeah. And so like being situationally aware, I feel is just as important as how quick your draw is. 100%.
Yeah, we've touched on that before with Mark from First Defense. That was like one of his biggest points was like the soft skills is just as important as the hard skills. Yeah. Like the other day, me and my buddy who works here with me, we went to the liquor store. I'd seen out the window this guy, like crazy guy, making noise and walking. He was like doing all this weird stuff, had his hand in his pocket, and he was walking that way. And then we went to the liquor store that way, like 20 minutes later, and as we come out into the street, he's kind of behind us, and so I just kind of like walk a little weird and make room, and so he passes us. So I didn't want him behind us. My buddy's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, he's just sketchy.
He's weird."
He never didn't even notice him, But if you pay attention, you recognize these patterns. You can put yourself in an advantageous position where, maybe you don't even have to ever draw because you avoided a bad situation.
Isn't that also why you carry pepper spray too? So just in case you don't necessarily have to use the force.
If I don't have to smoke a crackhead,
I will.
If spicy water makes the problem go away, I'd prefer that.
Yeah, for sure.
As like guys that practice that kind of stuff, soft skills and hard skills. Like I try to preach just like look out for other people. There's that mom with crazy kids, you know, she has no idea what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah.
So always watch out for that, because I would hope that somebody would do that for my kids, you know, my family, because I have a lot of kids. Like, it's wild, and like there's so much going on that, you know.
Yeah, you can't always pay attention, but it's like too. It's not always the people. It's like the normal people that want to carry and get into guns and things like that. I want them to have those skills, you know, of avoidance, of sitting the right direction when you go in a restaurant, knowing your exit stuff. This isn't stuff where you have to take a class, where you have to be a fucking TAC operator. You don't have to be an ex-SEAL or beret. Like, you can just be a normal person and be aware of what's going on around you, even if you're not carrying. You know, be aware of what's going on around you. It's just going to keep you safe. And that's, sometimes it's tough to get that across to people.
And nobody trains it. There's no like instructors right now that are teaching just soft skills. Like, you have just a soft skill class, no shooting.
I'd be so into that class.
That's a good idea.
There is, I mean, I've heard of a couple companies who do like situational stuff. And I was thinking about that too. And I was like, what are the most important things as me dealing with regular consumers, not TAC operators, not people that train a lot? What's important? Their draw, their soft skills, maybe low light stuff for the house or different things like that. But it doesn't extend much more than that for me personally. It's like those bare essentials that you're going to drill in, and that they're going to be right. It would be really nice, like, to put people in real situations with sim rounds, and like, okay, let's run through this. Like, would you engage or would you not engage? I feel like you would probably engage in more situations than I would. Right. And that's fine. But it's cool to talk those out.
For sure. We've gone through that. Like pressure situations where you're coming up in a dark room and you're lighting somebody up with your light. And is that a fucking gun or is that a mag light? Like, I smoked a target that had a mag light. Right. And they're like, oh, that wasn't a good kill. I was like, why not? They're like, because he only had a mag light. I was like, tell that to Rodney King, bro. That was a weapon. You know what I mean?
So you're in that same liquor store,
like this.
Right?
That was the dude with a mag light. I was like, fair. Bro, you ever hit with like a 4D cell battery mag light? Like, that's knock your ass
Cops
out.
aren't even allowed to carry those anymore.
That's true.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
true.
a weapon.
So you go into the liquor store, right? And you're in the back buying a case of beer. Guy walks in, pistol to the cashier's head. And you're in the back of the liquor store. You're observing. He doesn't know you're there. You engaging? See, I'm not.
I am.
I'm not until if he puts a round in that cashier, I'm engaging, right? Because now my life, if he turns around with that gun, if he swivels at all, it's on. But if he does not face me, I'm not technically. Like, that's just different things.
Legally, just if he's drawn on somebody, you can fire.
100%. Yeah. I wasn't talking from a legal one. Like, it was just like in those kind of situations, it's cool to actually talk that out with somebody, even if you have differing opinions on when you would engage. Why wouldn't you? Why would you? Like, that's the kind of stuff people need to think about. It's
pretty wild.
The undercover cop thing too is like one is always in the back of my head. It was taught in one of my CCW classes. My buddy asked me the other day, he's like, what if you saw like a guy across the street from up in the window and he's like has a gun pointed at some guy? I was like, I'm not doing anything, because what if that's an undercover cop arresting someone and I just smoked him? Now, if he shoots that guy indiscriminately and then starts shooting random people, absolutely, I'm taking him out from the window. What a dream scenario.
That's what dreams are made.
But yeah,
I wonder about that. Like, what if you like came in a conflict with another CCW holder?
That's a thing that happened. I mean, you have to be aware. That's why you carry a CCW badge. I'm just kidding. They do sell those, yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah. It's like super cringy.
That's almost about a security badge.
Yeah.
We're like getting our wallet out. I'm trying to get my USCCA card out so I can show them that. Yo.
I do want to get into a little bit of the tattoo stuff. I know you said you just got your head tattooed, but if you guys want to like shout out any of your tattoo artists, or a little bit about like when you started getting tattooed, or some of your favorites and all that good stuff.
You're going first this time.
I like to shout out my buddy Andrew. He owns and operates out of Good Days Tattoo in downtown Santa Ana. Awesome. He just did my head.
Oh, that is sick.
It's nice.
How did that feel?
Oh, it fucking hurt. So I went in and just got the outline done. The outline wasn't bad at all. I was like, oh, this is all it takes to get your head tattooed? Like, so I'll get this done 100 times, no big deal. And then went back to start doing the shading and the color, and it was the worst pain of my entire life. It was like as bad as you think it's going to be. Like,
do you wish you would have just done it all at the once? Like, you get
it's after the outline, I was like, that was perfect amount. I think we did like almost 10 hours total. But yeah, the first one was like 4 hours. The second one was like another 4, and I think we did another session. But yeah, no.
Did you get a gnarly headache?
Hell yeah.
Just like vibrating off the skull.
Yeah,
I just had one right here and it hit my skull and I was like, dude, this is fucking stupid.
What you think it feels like, it's exactly what it hurts.
Damn.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but he's doing my back now. He's done a bunch of my other tattoos. He's been tattooing for like 10 years, and he's been tattooing me since he started. So I've kind of grown with him. No, nothing on my hands
Smart
yet.
man, because we're over here removing ours.
He just got his hands.
I just got mine done.
Him.
I was noticing yours. Who did your hand
Levgin.
tattoos? Nice.
Yeah, Levgin. He was out here from Ukraine, out at Sasha Tattoo in LA, and I happened to get a spot with him. And then I got my dog on that one. I'm a huge Letterkenny fan. The show Letterkenny.
Yeah.
That patch, and this is like their logo. But my wife's son actually graphically designed my dog into their logo. But
is Sasha the chick that does all the flower?
Does like a lot of like fine line stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I follow her.
And then we actually, so random, we were in Spain and we were like, we want to get a tattoo. And the girls wanted to get a tattoo. And we were like, we'll get whatever you want. We don't care how girly it is. And so my wife kind of drew one out on a napkin and they call around and they get us into the tattoo parlor and it's Sasha Tattoo in Barcelona, Spain.
No
it was
shit.
crazy. So I got tattooed at actually 2 Sasha tattoos.
That's rad.
Yeah, like we both got tattooed by Kevin Nocerino at Port City quite a bit. I went to high school with him. I've got a lot of stuff. Jamie Sheen, Fern Andretti, Carlos Torres did my side, Tom Berg, a lot of different people. Yeah,
Are you pretty heavily covered as well? Like your arms?
My arms are pretty covered. I have my chest. Like I said, I'm working on my back. My legs are getting done. So I'm getting there. Not as nearly as much work as him, but
you're getting there. The legs suck. And I just finally got my hands done.
Oh, the hands suck too, though.
They weren't, this one wasn't too bad, but Levgin, I sat down and was there by myself, no headphones, no nothing like that. And he's like, cool, you ready? And he starts right in the web up here. Swear to God, right in the web. And I was like, this was 5 hours and he didn't move. So, most of the time you'll kind of drag the skin away from the bone.
Yeah. He
stretches right on that wrist bone and he just goes right into it. And I was like, all right, dude. So that was pretty rough, but I waited like I was, and I had like, the inside of my hands done. I was a high school teacher. I got a degree from Long Beach and stuff. So I was really, I didn't want to have my tattoos on my neck or hands. And I was like, once my career gets to a certain place where I'm comfortable and I'm good, then I'll go ahead and go there. And, the shop has provided that for us. So
that's cool.
Where, it's kind of cool that you can deal with professional people that are still heavily tattooed. And I think that's kind of changing, but we like being part of that. Just because we have a lot of tattoos doesn't mean we don't know shit or we're going to be a dick to you.
Right.
We're still nice guys.
I think everybody at the shop is tattooed. I mean, is anybody at Rifle Supply not tattooed? There's maybe a couple people. There's maybe 2 or 3 out of 26 that aren't tattooed. We're like, cool, more tattoos, better.
Yeah. I think every time I'm in there and I, casually mention I'm a tattoo artist, whoever's helping me is always like, oh, let me get a card.
Talk to Dan. Dan's our assistant manager. He just started getting tattooed.
Okay.
He was a tanker in the Marine Corps.
Does he have the like traditional black
Yep, he
stuff?
just started getting that
He's
done.
who helped me out. And so I gave him a card.
He's got like 5 or 6 now, all like right here on this arm.
Yeah. Very nice guy.
The new addiction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It hurts so bad coming off.
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
Like so.
Why are you getting them removed?
Because I want to go wear a badge.
Oh, are you? And they don't like hands in that department, or are they not okay with hands anywhere?
Not really anywhere.
San Bernardino Sheriff. You can have hand tattoos. San Bernardino Sheriff.
And I think once you get an SEB in certain places, right, then they're okay, right?
Yeah, or it's like post academy, but that's like the goal is like SEB because a few of my neighbors are there, so it's kind of like you get in, we'll pull you in. I was like, cool, thanks, buddies.
Like, dog handler, bro.
No,
my life revolves around Belgian Malinois, dude. That's all I do is train.
I can't do it. I got 3 shepherds at home right now, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And 4 kids?
Fuck them kids. But I just want to do that. But it's painful. Like all like the Instagram videos you see where it's like no, that's maybe like your first visit. So it's cranked up. They're hitting me with like a needle with like I don't know what the fuck is it, lidocaine?
Yeah.
But the needle it's one syringe, but then it has a wheel with 7 needles. So they're going just numbing areas at a time, and it's
that's how they put the lidocaine in. It's not even a topo lidocaine.
I did a topo first, and then they said
that shit don't work.
They go, it doesn't work at all, and then they go, and by the way, it could affect how effective the laser is. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that the first time?
How come you're getting yours removed?
Maybe similar reasons. I might be getting into that world or seeing about
Like,
doing
I want to
that.
get my hands done. You guys are taking yours off.
I know, me too. I want to get my knuckles done. I'm thinking about Ben Grillo for my knuckles, maybe.
Oh yeah, he does his
some
little
fine line
portraits.
stuff.
Yeah,
So like,
he's a cool dude. I don't know him personally, but
I
just
don't
through
either.
Instagram,
That's the only
like,
thing I'm bummed about my knuckles because John Caleb did them and he's like such a good letter guy.
yeah. Okay, I don't want to miss this question. I don't know how much time we have left. We're enough time to get this one in, then maybe
it's a
follow
two-part
up.
question.
What?
The big one.
Yeah,
Country. So we're gonna
this
need
shit's
two answers.
two answers. Okay.
This is a wild question. That
We've asked everyone since the first episode. It's just like one of our favorites, and we get cool answers out of it. What do you think is the greatest threat to the United States today? And you guys can each answer.
oh man, yeah. I feel like I'm in like the Miss America pageant. But
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
time to prepare for those kind of like world peace, answers. The biggest threat to the United States right now, or what was the question?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
repeat the question?
Well, let's see how we have it written down. What is the greatest threat facing the United States today or in the near future?
This might sound cheesy and cliche, but the internal division that they've created in this country is, I feel if there's going to be a downfall, that's going to be it. Because if I was them, and when I say them, we're not going to get into Illuminati conversation and whatever, who pulls the strings. Freemasons.
That's why he's getting removed.
I have a history degree, right? I love that shit. But
what you want to know?
like everything, actually, dude. I just think if I was them, I would have done it the same way that they have done it, right? They've just split the country up into different sects, and they've cut it off on political lines. Now you have gun lines. Now you have Hamas versus pro-Palestine. Everything. It's just they're doing a great job of it, and everybody's fucking buying into it, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I get it, right? Everybody's going to have their differences, but we're all humans, and at the end of the day, we're all fucking Americans. And I talk to a lot of people these days. I was at Long Beach State on the campus when 9/11 happened, and they closed down the campus, so I was old enough to really remember it. And the day after, when we're all fucking Americans. That's all that mattered. And that's what I would love for this country. I don't know if it'll ever get back there or if it's going to take a catastrophic event to get there. But I don't feel like China, Russia, they can make moves if we're split apart. But if we are one whole unit, I don't think anybody's fucking with us. And that's what I feel is the biggest threat right now, is just us and listening to everybody instead of just being together.
That's so crazy because my answer is like almost the same thing. Like the biggest threat is the divide in our country. Like our biggest threat is ourselves. Like the way we're so split apart and just not coming together and things. Like we've kind of talked about it, but never. It's crazy that he's had the exact same answer I did. It wasn't expecting.
just so blind
most
to
people
it.
do. It's
Is that-
Yeah, it's kind of why it's become our favorite question, is how similar the answers are. And it's
at
like,
least, they just these people are just swallowing what these politicians and media is regurgitating. Like they're swallowing it whole, man. Like, and it's like, fucking learn, listen, talk to people, have conversations, become a better person as far as tolerance and listening and things like that. And I'm a very brash, abrasive, sometimes intense person, right? I'm not the most understanding hippie that's out there, right? Like, that's just not me. But like, I can still listen to somebody else's point of view and go like, man, you got a good point. Yeah. I'm definitely going to think about that. And people are just buying in, and I don't know how. And I don't know how to switch it around either, because people are just so soft.
it just seems to get worse and worse. I think every step of the way in the last since like 2020, I'm like an optimist,
why 2020? Oh, I'm a realist. Like, as
yeah, I know.
So,
but like,
I'm with you on that.
But like we got a message. One of our guests had to reschedule, and he's like, I need to reschedule to shoot. And he's like, hey, it looks like this guest has to reschedule. And I go, oh, maybe he means like he wants to go shooting. And he's like, I love your optimism, but no, yes. but no, I like with COVID stuff. I was like, because same thing. But I remember 9/11. I remember bringing people together. Since then, I've been like waiting for that thing that'll do that again. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll be COVID. It's like, nope, divided us further. Maybe it's the next thing. Nope, divided us further. And I'm just
like, what's the fix? And it's not us or what we're talking about here, but like, everybody's great at identifying the problem. And it's what are we going to do to fix it? And it's kind of like how I run, because we have 7 departments. I have 7 managers of the employees, and I'm like, cool. So we identified the problem. even if it's wrong, let's try something to fix it. Like, and we just keep identifying it. And I'm scared that the only thing that's going to fix it is something bad.
Yeah.
So that's how everybody start local. Your local councilmen, mayors, because I mean presidential. It's not really. It's not really going to matter. But shout out to Heck. He's running for Huntington Beach City Council this year.
That's right. Yep. We had him as a guest.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I know him just from, we're both members of Relaxed Atmosphere Car Club, and so we do all the car stuff, and so I know Heck through
cool.
there.
So-
yeah, we know Heck through there.
Yeah.
What was it? The last cruise they just did?
The quarantine?
Yeah, he was here that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was our
That
guest.
episode's rad.
And like you said, like having guests on that don't necessarily agree, that's something we want to do as well. Is like, Heck is a tattoo guy, but not a gun guy at all. So we wanted to get like his pocket dump was wild.
Oh, I think I saw it because I
Dude.
started following you guys.
It's the
it's
best.
Bad because it tells a story on why he doesn't like guns. He
Yeah.
had bad experiences as a kid, and it's like it's cool to like hear about that. But he's like not against him. He's just not for him.
Yeah.
Pretty rad.
But yeah, he's running for city council.
Is he
and
really?
I think, like you said, that's where you start. Local, small. Start with your clients. Start with your.
That's what
neighbors.
we're trying at the shop, right? Is like just make everybody feel welcome, and then you can just start talking about things, and you got to start somewhere.
So you're not going to control who sits in the White House. But you can control who comes into your shop.
Totally.
Stuff, your house, stuff like that.
And we've had a lot of good experiences. A lot of people don't talk about, like you said about tattoo artists that like are into guns or carry. I've had a lot of Democrats that have come in, heavy left people, gay people, trans people. We don't judge on that. I actually got into, and hopefully we don't run over, I actually got into an argument with somebody at a gun show, another shop, who I'm not going to mention the name. We have a customer who's trans and works at the VA. 2 battle tours, right? She is like a legit, like she's fucking legit, right? But she comes to us because everybody else treats her like shit because she hasn't had all the surgery. She hasn't done everything like that, but we love helping her out and stuff like that. And I heard some people at a gun show talking shit, and I just couldn't stop. So I couldn't just walk by. So I stopped and I engaged them, and I was like, you guys don't know who the fuck you're talking about. Just because, yeah, I get it, right? She doesn't totally look like a female, stuff like that. But for us, it's just be welcome to everybody and have everybody, like I said, on the same team. And then we can move forward somewhere. But if we're split up like this, the shit just doesn't work.
That's a great place to end it. Before we do, real quick, anything you guys want to plug? Where can people find more stuff about Rifle Supply and you guys
coming up too? So
yeah.
Which event? God. We have our midsummer. We have our midsummer bash. We have our cars and coffee. Riflesupply.com.
We'll be at gun show soon, right?
Yep, we'll be at the gun show this weekend, or next week. No, this coming weekend.
Yeah.
This will air like 10 weeks from now.
So
okay.
we were at the gun show.
Yeah, you guys saw them at the gun show.
Yeah. Midsummer bash at Rifle Supply. We'll have everybody out there.
I'll come this time. Sorry.
Yeah. Kevin Nocerino at Port City Tattoo. Carlos is already famous enough. And the rest of the guys are. But yeah, thank you so much for having us on.
Thanks for being on, you guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thanks.